Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today what we have here is an ASUS ROG STRIX XG27UCS. It's 160Hz, 4K gaming monitor, and you might be wondering why the brown box, guys. Actually, ASUS is committed in environmental responsibility that this cardboard is actually made from 100% recyclable materials. And okay, I'm not sure if you're interested with that one, but that is actually a good thing to help the environment. But guys, now let's try to unbox and see what is inside this box. Inside the bag, we have here, I believe, some accessories. Like for example, we have here power cord, and we only have one display port cable, mounting base, okay, we have the mounting arm, okay, and let's try to build this one first before we plug it in on the monitor. Hope you can still see it. I'll just slide it in. Okay. Then it's locked. Then, after that one, you can actually pull the monitor. It's already secured and safe to pull it out. And we have here the monitor. Now, let us try to check the specification of the monitor. It uses an IPS panel 4K monitor, 160Hz refresh rate with 1 millisecond GTG or gray to gray, non-glare display surface that minimizes reflection, pre-sync and G-Sync compatible, 1 USB-C port, 1 HDMI 2.1 port, 1 1.4 dB port, and an earphone port. For the mechanical design, it can be tilted, swivel, height adjusted, and pivot up to 90 degrees. BESA wall mount is also available, and a lot more. For the full specification, I'll just include a link on the description below. For my first impression, I love the design, and knowing that you can do height adjustment is very useful for ergonomics, especially if my kids will be using the computer. The base is actually plastic compared to the metal base that I have from my other ROG monitor, and I believe one of the reasons for that one is to make this more budget friendly for a 4K monitor in the ROG lineup. Now, let us see what are the things that we can actually do or what are the features of this monitor. Okay guys, let's try to check on what are the things that we can actually do with the monitor. By clicking the joystick at the back of the monitor, you'll be able to see here the main menu. You have gaming. Under gaming, you have variable overdrive where you can change the variable overdrive configuration, pull it up or pull it down. Okay, and aside from that one, you also have here your variable refresh rate. You can turn it on or turn it off if you want to. It supports G-Sync, pre-sync, and adaptive sync. Aside from that one, you also have here your ELMB setup or extreme low motion blur by ASUS. You can also enable ELMB sync while variable refresh rate is on, but you have to enable the G-Sync on your NVIDIA control panel. You'll be able to see here setup G-Sync and enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible. Okay, then aside from that one, going back to our configuration, you have here Game Plus. For the Game Plus, guys, this is an additional tool for you to help with your games. Like for example, the FPS counter, you can enable FPS counter to be able to see the actual FPS running on your monitor. Then aside from that one, going back to the menu, Game Plus, you have here crosshair. You can enable this one, this crosshair if you want to. Like for example, let's choose this green one. And you'll be able to see here the crosshair in the middle of the monitor to help you with your FPS game. Okay, then aside from that Game Plus, for the crosshair, you have here the timer, you have your stopwatch, display alignment, and we also have your game visual. For the game visual, guys, you can change this configuration of the monitor. It will actually change the brightness or contrast of the monitor. Like for example, we are on racing mode. Like for example, if you want to change to FPS mode, first person shooter, it will actually change. Okay, Then going to the next one, the shadow boost, guys. For the shadow boost, this is still a tool to help you with dark places on the monitor. Like for example, if in FPS game, there is a dark side of the part of the alley, you'll be able to see it clearer or brighter compared without shadow boost. It will help you with your gaming experience as well. And I'm not really sure if that is called cheating, but it's a tool that you can use in ASUS monitor. Then aside from that one, you also have your ASUS Display Widget Center. You can download this one so you won't have to click the button at the back of the monitor every time you want to change something. And next one will be the image. For the image, guys, as you can see here, the brightness is 100, contrast vivid pixel, and you can change the image configuration of the display. Like for example, let's try to change, right now it's 180 and 50. If you change the game visual, okay, so let's say cinema mode, okay, it dimmed. Let's try to check the image configuration. As you can see, the brightness is changed, the contrast and the vivid pixels is also changed. Then aside from that one, you have blue light filter if you want to then enable this one or turn off the blue light filters. Then aside from that one, you have here the color. For the color space, you can actually choose sRGB, DC, IP3, or wide gamut. Like for example, if you change this one to DC IP3, okay, did you see the difference? And of course, the wide gamut, yes, it actually varies from one color space to another. And you also have your color temperature, and if you want it maybe warmer or brighter. Okay, so right now I'm setting it to 7500K, and you also have your saturation. If you can adjust this one, 6-axis saturation and gamma as well. Next one is input select. You can actually set this to auto detection. Then you can also have your my favorites and of course system setup. Okay guys, I would just like to give you an overview of the ASUS Display Widget Center, which can be downloaded on ASUS website. As you can see here, you have here the XG27UCS. This is actually automatically detected by the application. And you have here the Game Visual Game Plus, which we actually did by clicking the joystick at the back of the monitor. Aside from that one, there are additional things that you can do here that you cannot do by clicking the button at the back of the monitor. Like for example, the multi-screen, and the other one is the display HDR. Right now, it's turned on. You can turn it off on this location. Okay. As you can see, it actually became brighter, but I'm not really sure the main difference, but you can enable the HDR on this configuration. Okay guys, I would just like to show you the configuration for the ELMB setup for the extreme low motion blur. If you enable this one, there will be backlight strobing. It is not actually visible to the eye, but I'll show you what difference it makes if the camera is still able to capture the strobing. Okay, as you can see here, there is a strobing. And aside from that one, the monitor got dimmer or less bright compared to the one before when we enable ELMB sync on this monitor. Okay, enough with those features. Let us get to the point if this is a good monitor. It will be hard to show it on camera, but I'll try to do my best to describe my experience. I tried to do a side-by-side and compare it with my ASUS TUF BG2709Q3A 1080p monitor. Don't bash me for comparing a 1080p monitor for a 4K monitor. For I need to have a baseline if I'll go with 4K or stay at 1080p. In addition, I don't have another 4K 27-inch monitor in my arsenal to compare it with. Right there and then, there is a huge difference. It is sharper, better compared to my 1080p. I have tried to capture video for both monitor to compare it side by side in this 3-minute video with 12 inches away from the camera. For the video capture on the right, that is the best capture that I can get for a 1080p monitor. I even tried to do adjustment on the camera angle, but that is the best that I can capture. There are weird lines, but don't get me wrong. When I'm using that monitor, even that I'm close, I'm not able to see those lines. It's still a good 1080p monitor. Let me know if this is normal to capture it on a 4K resolution camera or if I'm doing something wrong. But nonetheless, if you look closely to the video, and I hope you can still see it, the XG27UCS gives better details. Guys, I have this monitor for quite some time and it is really amazing. The only problem that I have is as soon as I go back to my BG2709Q3A or 1080p monitor, it is somehow blurry since I'm already accustomed with the 4K resolution of this monitor. which is sharper and better. For gaming, 160Hz for me is more than enough. And since I only play CSGO for FPS and more of RPG games with great details, and mostly I like cinematics, guys. But it is just for me, and you might have different preferences for your game if it is FPS or details or sharpers. Another thing is that my machine might not be able to handle a higher refresh rate 4K monitor, so I'm really good with this XG27UCS. Guys, for the ELMB, it's not for me, but I think some people would actually appreciate that one because it is a little bit darker if I enable ELMB sync, so I'm not really into that one. I want somewhere brighter when I'm playing games, and that's not just for me, but it's still a good to have for people who appreciate that extreme low motion blur from ASUS. Overall, I would rate this monitor a solid 5-star. The reason being is that this is already an ROG series at around 500 USD only with 160Hz refresh rate with better ergonomics compared to the old BG28U QL1A at the same price when that one came out. Who is this monitor for? If you are a media creator or gamers who loves details and sharpness, this is definitely for you. But always remember, you also need a powerful machine to drive that 4K 160Hz refresh rate, and it might actually cost a little more depending on the games that you are playing. And I think that will be all for now. If you have comment and suggestion, comment down below or message me at JK Chavez on FB. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe and bye.